Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I also wanted to let you know that not only do I create content here on Class in the Glass, but I also stream content in my Twitch channel, Mr. Revan7. I play single-player games, multiplayer games, and I also do movie reviews and cartoon reviews as well. I also want to encourage you to check out my Patreon, Class in the Glass, where I offer audio commentaries, full reactions for movies, and also the ability to submit questions for my video casts and podcasts. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and enjoy the video.
Something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with
I'm sorry, can we cut? Jamie, can we cut?
What is going on here?
Hey, I'm about to jump out this helicopter like Wesley
I'm
Snipes.
doing the scene right now.
What scene? The scene is about emotionality. Where is it? Oh, God! I am dealing with a bunch of prima donnas.
Want to make this movie right? We take those boys up there, put them in the trees, shoot the whole thing guerrilla style.
Real fear in the right. Real emotion.
Yes, yes.
Some of us might not make it back.
What do you mean? Like, not on the same flight?
We'll send you here.
Hey, dude, you all right? Totally leaned into that, bro. You want to do one more?
I don't believe you people.
What do you mean, you people?
What do you mean, you people?
Tropic Thunder.
We gotta get to this movie review. Again, thank you for all your generosity. Seriously, really do appreciate it. But let's talk about Tropic Thunder, guys. So, I know I asked this at the start of every review, and I feel like everyone has seen this film, but how many of you guys have seen this movie? Did you like it? What'd you think of it? I saw this way back in like 2008 was a great year for films. Of course, you had like The Dark Knight, and Iron Man, the start of the MCU. Chat, 2008 was Robert Downey Jr.'s year. This was his comeback, chat. This is the start of the Downey-sance. You know, I mean, yes, Matthew McConaughey played a role in this too, but fucking he had Iron Man and Tropic Thunder back-to-back in the same summer. Got an Academy Award nomination for this film, chat. A white guy in blackface. And people were like, he's just so goddamn good, we can't be offended. Matter of fact, the blackface wasn't even the thing that offended people. It's something that was completely unrelated to that. Which is so funny. We'll go into the details and the history of this film. So, yeah, everyone's seen it. I've seen it. Troy, you have not seen it. Well, I'm about to spoil it for you, good sir. Please do yourself a favor and check out this film, guys. I just watched it on Amazon Prime for $2. They also have, like, the director's cut, too, which I've never seen before, which I think, ooh, I want to see that. But please do yourself a favor and see this movie. Yeah, it was a fantastic theater experience. Although, I did see an old couple that absolutely despised it, actually walked out of the theater disgusted, like midway through, which I thought was so funny back in the day. I saw this film, I think, like 2 or 3 times in theaters in 2008. Again, 2008, fantastic fucking year. But kind of give you a little background on the film, chat. Directed by Ben Stiller. And this, to me, is Ben Stiller at his best. Ben Stiller, he can play one of 2 different types of characters. Either he plays the very boring milquetoast guy from stuff like Meet the Parents or Along Came Polly. Just really, I'm not a fan of those movies. I know Meet the Parents has its fans, but I'm just like, it's so dry, and he's so uninteresting. He's such a fucking, just a pushover in those films. I just can't stand him. But then he has this other side of himself, chat, where he's fucking crazy, Ben Stiller. Stuff like in Heavyweights, which was his first on-screen role in a movie ever. And like he played the crazy fucking trainer in Heavyweights, chat, in the camp with the fat kids. That would be an excellent review to do. Remember that, chat. Heavyweights is an excellent goddamn comedy. Love that film, chat. Heavyweights, we played that, or the fucking crazy gym teacher and fucking Dodgeball. Hilarious. Like, I love crazy Ben Stiller, and here we get just that crazy Ben Stiller. He's all over the place in this movie, chat, and I love him. Like, he plays the idiot, but he also has those scenes like, okay, he completely fucking lost it. He's lost the script, literally. When the movie came out, it was a critical success, a commercial success, chat. Had a pretty high budget, which, again, it makes sense because there's a lot of fucking explosions in this film, chat, a lot of CGI, a lot of big names. Like, even the supporting cast, chat, the tertiary characters, those are big-named actors. Like, Tom Cruise, who was in a period of his career where it was just like, maybe he's just done. His name doesn't sell it. This is when everyone's like, Tom Cruise is just weird. I don't want to see him in anything. Like, this was the start of his comeback. The start of a lot of people's comebacks. Matthew McConaughey, Robert Downey Jr., and Tom Cruise. Like, this movie helped out a lot of people's careers. And that's why I think it was just so expensive, because you're paying for so much talent in this film, Chet. But this was just under $100 million. I mean, $92 million. Was just made for that, and it had a box office 195.7 million. It was a huge success on VOD as well for both streaming services and rentals, and I mean, just, you know, eventually on Blu-ray and things. One of the best. I think it's one of the best-selling comedies in the past decade. So huge critical success. When I first saw this in theaters, Chad, I absolutely loved it. I mean, I would, you know, I'm not going to say, oh, what am I going to give it? Like, I'd probably give it a better than Sex, Chad. Honestly, it's just so funny. And seeing it again just reminds me, it's like, wow, this is such an inspired comedy that is not only well written, actually, because that's the thing, Chad. I really started to dislike comedies around this time because they all fall. Thank you, Underground, for the subscribing, and thank you so much, Darkseid, with the 5 biddies. Oh, Chad, one more sub, next Dark Cartoon poll. Thank you so much, guys. But I was at this period of time where all the comedies felt the same because everyone had adopted the Judd Apatow style of filmmaking, which I personally just despise. It's where you just set a camera down for 4 fucking hours and you just let your actors improv, and then we'll take that and then we'll just put it in the movie somehow. They have like a bare bones script, chat that's maybe about a dozen pages, and they just has all his goddamn actors improv. I hate that shit. Like, this was actually written. They had scenes. Of course, there's some improv in there. There's no doubt about it. But they had a sense of structure. It had a story to tell, and it has this great critique throughout the entire movie. This critique of just, I mean, Hollywood in general, the Hollywood system of actors, how full of shit they are. Or as some actors can be, or a lot of actors can be full of shit, and it just takes the piss out of them. That's why I think this comedy is going to be looked back. Yes, for its controversies, chat, but also just how well written it is and how the jokes still work to this day. That's why stuff like Judd Apatow did, you know, like Knocked Up and things, and whatever other comedy he did back in the day, that's just not going to age well, because it's all just fucking people riffing off of each other and having a good time. It's a good old boys or girls club, and I hate that shit. Like, this was actually written by somebody, by Ben Stiller and his people. That's why it works so well. But chat. Until the films are waiting. Yeah, and they're waiting like 2 hours and 45 minutes. A comedy does not need to be 2 hours and 45 minutes. Because he has all his actors. I know this turns into like a Judd Apatow hate session, chat, but I got this makes sense in the review itself. Because again, this movie was actually written. Apatow comedies are not. There's no reason for a comedy to be over 2 hours. Most of the time, chat, comedy should be in 90 minutes. Like, this one is about like an hour 45, and it still works because it's so goddamn funny the entire time through. Cabs, welcome to stream. Hey there, Chris and the Rev. Nice, good to see you, Cabs. Hope you're doing very well. Night Day Nick, the jokes in the movie were actually relevant to the plot. Exactly. Unlike a lot of improv where the jokes are, the jokes have nothing to do with the scene itself. Like, everything, the comedy, it's so funny, Chad, like a comedy does it, but the comedy serves the story that they're telling. It serves the characters. It's not just random shit that doesn't make any sense. It's not fucking Kate McKinnon dancing for 5 minutes, and it's like, oh my god, it's comedy gold. She's such a brilliant comedian. It's like, fuck off. Like, no, this is actually written. It's why I appreciate it so much. But chat, let's get into it. And again, this movie just starts out because it tricks you. That's what it does so well. Like, the movie doesn't start with, you know, the credits and everything like that. It starts with, like, previews. Like, you would see at a theater for obnoxious shit that you're never going to see. It starts with a commercial for an energy drink with Brandon T. Jackson as the character Al Pacino selling his terrible energy drink track, Booty Sweat, and his power bars, Bust a Nut bars. I mean, he's in between these two girls' giant asses, chat. They're all bouncing and jiggling in his face. He's singing this horrible hip-hop song. And I remember when I saw this in theater, people were like, oh my god. Everyone was kind of like disgusted by it, like Booty Sweat, Bust a Nut bar. People legit, like, I even thought, like, what the fuck? Like, it caught me, Chad. It caught me off guard, and it caught my audience, the audience I was with off guard. That's how good this movie is, Chad. It actually, oh shit, this was part of the film. Because after that, I mean, truly disgusting little commercial, Chad. It's just so goddamn, pop an ass open. God. After it transitions to that, and that's when we started to get it. It's like, oh, this is fake. It transitions to, you know, the typical indie film, chat, that's beloved by all the critics, but you never heard of it. It's been nominated by all these film festivals and award shows you've never heard of. And it's Robert Downey Jr.'s character, Kirk Lazarus, who is this 5-time Academy Award nominee. It's almost like a parody of someone like Sean Penn or like a Russell Crowe, who's this beloved critic darling. And he's in a film where I guess it takes place like during the Middle Ages or the Renaissance era, where he plays a Franciscan friar or priest who has fallen in love from a younger Franciscan friar, chat, played by Tobey Maguire. And it's this whole just erotic, a mixture of like, oh no, it's because they have these feelings, chat, because they're gay, but they have to profess the faith, and it's a wonderful thing. You have like all of Downey Jr.'s characters, like credentials come up with like 5-time Academy Award nominee, and it's like, and Tobey Maguire, MTV's Best Kiss Award winner, like shit like that. And you see them just kind of rubbing up, like them holding each other's rosary beads and going, oh, like holding those rosary beads, is playing with them. And like it even ends, it's like, oh, I've been a very bad boy, father. It's like shit, like it's just amazing. And then after that, it transitions to the prototypical dumb action sci-fi thriller, chat, with Ben Stiller's character, Tuck Speedman, who is in the Scorcher series. Scorcher, like the entire planet's a post-apocalyptic scenario where the entire planet has been covered in ash and lava and magma fields, chat. He's done Scorcher 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all derivative of each other until the 6th one, chat, where shit freezes over. Who left the fridge open? And it cuts to that. So again, just so much. And then I think the last one, chat, or maybe it was before this one, where you have the prototypical Eddie Murphy comedy they did in the 90s, where everyone's in a fat suit, except it's Jack Black playing multiple characters, and all they do is eat food and fart and say gross things. I think it's called The Fatties Fart 2 or something. And actually, the fat suits look really good on him. It was truly disgusting. But again, it's a parody of all those films that you saw that Eddie Murphy was doing back then. Until eventually, chat, transitions over to the actual Tropic Thunder, to the movie. But again, those like 4 fake trailers showcasing a lot of like the main actors, it's so brilliant and it's so relevant because those are all parodies of things that we've seen for decades. You have the accolade chaser in Kirk Lazarus, who's a method actor. You have the action star who won't stop doing all these terrible sequels, even though the first movie was great. You have the comedian who has just lost it and is just doing derivative comedic shit that's not even funny anymore. And you have the hip-hop artist or musician coming in there wanting to be an actor. Like, it's all fucking true. It's all like stuff that we've seen. Again, it's a great critique of that Hollywood culture. Dark Star, again, think of 5 minutes. You're just jealous because I'm skinny. Yeah, like shit like that. Just terrible. Then it's gross, like all that shit. But eventually do transition over to the movie, chat, and it starts off like a typical Vietnam War film. You got the typical music of the 70s or the 60s, late 60s that you would hear. We're following these 3 choppers in, chat. We're introduced to these characters. You got fucking Robert Downey Jr. in blackface. We see Jack Black, who's doing a typical New York accent. Like he's the tough squad leader or whatever. You have Jay Baruchel, really underrated comedic actor. I know that he typically plays himself. He has the same goddamn voice and everything, but he has great comedic timing, and he's also kind of underrated. He's very much the audience character. He's the one that points out, like, this is fucking ridiculous, and you guys are all losers. You gotta get over yourself. The fucking ego's in this room. Like, he's very good. Brandon T. Jackson, who is also great. He's a great comedic foil for Robert Downey Jr. to call him out on his incredibly racist shit that he's doing. And, of course, eventually, chat, Ben Stiller. But we fall in these 3 helicopters in, and they're fucking landing, chat, and they're there to rescue Ben Stiller. And, of course, they see good old Ben Stiller. He's run out of the goddamn muck, chat, being chased by the Viet Cong, or as Ben Stiller calls in the movie, the Viet Congs. Just know that they're already plural. And, of course, he runs out, chat, and we see that's a parody of Platoon getting, like, shut up. So it goes on for way too long, and eventually Robert Downey Jr. is like, all right, come here, you lip-dick motherfuckers, and he goes in there, chat, and like, it's supposed to be this iconic, this dramatic moment, but because of the overacting, it's ridiculous and comedic. You have him just fucking shooting people of not even looking, like he's pulling goddamn Han Solo's, chat, shooting behind his back, killing everybody. Jay Baruchel has his fucking gut torn open, and he's like, oh god, it's like just spraying. There's also this one great scene of Jack Black trying to plug up this one guy's head who just got shot in the back, just blood just coming into his face, and just screaming his ass off. But we see good old Robert Downey Jr. pick up Ben Stiller, who just has been shot to shit, and he carries him over his back, Chad. He's got it. and they're going back to the chopper. But oh no, one of the Viet Congs, Chad, as Ben Stiller would come, they go ahead and they throw one of those goddamn grenades. And good old Ben Stiller says, no! And he blocks it, Chad. He goes, boom! But the helicopter's also blown back, and Jack Black, who's very chubby in the movie, he's fat, and it's funny when he falls down. He falls out of the copter, Chad, holding out with one arm. Everyone's blasted, everyone's dying. Oh, but what happened to good old Ben Stiller? Well, good old Robert Downey Jr., Chad, he recovered, and he makes his way over to Ben Stiller, who's not looking too good. And Ben Stiller, he might as well be on death's goddamn door. And he's asking Robert Jr., please don't leave me. Hold my hands. And then we got Robert Downey Jr. sells this scene. He's like, oh boy. It's like even that one line where he looks down and he goes, oh boy, huh, geez. And he picks up Ben Stiller's hands, or I mean, what's left of them, his wrist, Chad, and it's just these rub. It looks like if you peeled back like a banana. Like that's what would be Ben Stiller's hand. Like a fleshy, bloody, pulpy banana. And he's just holding these hands like this as Ben Stiller keeps talking. And the scene goes on. Robert Downey Jr., he's just fucking crying and spittle's coming out of his mouth because he's so sad Ben Stiller's dying. But Ben Stiller, he's having trouble crying. He just can't bring the emotion, chat, until he says, can we cut? And then you realize, oh shit, they're actually filming a movie. And we see goddamn Steve Coogan, who is caked in suntan lotion because he's a pasty little British man, chat, and he can't handle that Vietnam sun. It's too late. And he already has like significant sunburn. He looks fucked up. And he's like, no, we got to keep filming. Ben Stiller's like, I can't cry when he's crying, and it makes it awkward. So Robert Downey Jr. is just fucking sick of it. He's just like, all right, the man can't cry. I don't give a shit, and he stays in character. Survive. He stays in character the entire time. And Ben Stiller just thinks that weird. Jack Black is screaming his ass off, like, what's happening? I'm hot and it hurts. My balls, they keep getting scrunched. And it's great. Eventually, Chad, we cut to Danny McBride, and he is the VFX expert. He's the one that blows up all the shit on set. And there's a lot of explosion in this movie, Chad. And like he's starting to set up this scene. He's trying to get in contact with Steve Coogan, telling him like, listen, we have the fucking 2 military jets that we rented from the U.S. military coming in. I'm about to fire these explosives off. Okay, is the scene ready? And the thing is, Steve Coogan is getting so frustrated with Robert Downey Jr. and Ben Stiller to the point that Robert Downey Jr. is like, okay, man can't fucking cry. I'm not gonna do the scene until he can cry. It's all about the emotionality, as he says, chat. And fucking Ben Stiller just not giving any emotionality. And he's just I love it too, because then you realize like how fake the rubber suit he has on, like the rubbery arms are just going back and forth. It looks terrible. So Robert Downey Jr., he goes to take a shit, chat. Steve Coogan, he's just losing his goddamn mind. He just fucking throws his notes in the ground. He's just screaming at everybody. And then Danny McBride's like, that's the signal, that's it. Also, we cut to Nick Nolte, chat, who, again, is perfectly cast in this movie as a crazy Vietnam vet. What the movie is, Tropic Thunder, is an adaptation of his book that he wrote from his experiences in Vietnam. And Ben Stiller was asking him, like, listen, like, you didn't cry when you had your arms blown off and when Osiris was talking to you, and Nick Nolte just, I wasn't crying. I mean, Nick Nolte in his prime, just, like years of drug and alcohol abuse have given us the Nick Nolte that we have today, chat. And I ask for nothing less. That's all I want, is that formerly incredibly drug addicted and alcohol abused Nick Nolte, chat. God fucking bless him, right? Am I right? And so he's like, I didn't cry. But then, chat, Steve Coogan, he's losing his goddamn mind. Nick Nolte always plays a war veteran because he looks like one. He's like, oh, it's perfect. You nailed it, especially a Vietnam vet. I mean, he's perfectly, he has the look, and he walks the walk, Chad, and he talks the talk, in my opinion. And so Steve Coogan loses his mind, and fucking Danny McBride, he's like, woo, let's fucking do it. And then the jets fly by, Chad, and all the explosive goes off. It's like a multi-million-dollar effect. I love this too. Jack Black, again, such an underrated actor in this movie, Chad. I know everyone gives Robert Downey Jr. a lot of credit. He absolutely does, but Jack Black has some fantastic scenes. And where all the explosions go off, he's like, ah! He's screaming because he feels the heat from it. And then Steve Coogan looks up, he's like, oh, fuck, that's expensive. Then we cut to like an Access Hollywood type show where like, another bumble on the set of Tropic Thunder. A $4 million pyrotechnic scene goes off and they didn't even film it. And so like all this stuff is getting back to Hollywood, Chad. The movie's just, it's only been shooting for 7 days or 5 days even, and it's already going to be months upon months of, it's already months and months delayed at this point because of the egos that are on set and because of the lack of professionality from everyone else. Professionalism. And so that's when fucking Steve Coogan, he gets a goddamn call from the Hollywood executive Les Grossman, chap, played by Tom Cruise, who, again, his career was really faltering. Because of, it was the Oprah thing, chap. I mean, that's what really sent him off the Scientology stuff. People just weren't interested in Tom Cruise, and he needed a role where he looked charming, or something that you just never expected him to be in. And he chose to be in a fat suit, be a gross guy who was just yelling obscenities at anyone that comes across him, drinking goddamn, pounding Diet Coke back. Like it's nothing, like it's water, chat. And he nailed it. He is amazing in this film. Like every scene, they even thought about doing a spin-off with him, like years after this movie. I guess it never came to fruition, which, you know what, I'm actually fine with that, because his character works, I think, in moderation when he appears occasionally. Because if you had that same character consistently throughout an entire film, it might be a little too overwhelming. You might get sick of him. So they had him just right in this movie. And so Steve Coogan, he's going to see Tom Cruise via like Skype call. But during all this chat, Ben Stiller, he's looking at the dailies and shit, and people have been talking shit about him, how like his last Scorcher film just did not do well critically or commercially. They cut to his other box office and critical failure, which this was the big thing that was controversial about the movie, chat. Not the blackface, not the fact that Robert Downey Jr. played a black man. Everyone was fine with that. Matter of fact, they almost gave him an Academy Award, chat. He was nominated. To me, he was only second to Heath Ledger deserved his Oscar for the Joker, but fucking Robert Downey Jr. would have been my second choice. Okay, I think we can all get on the same page there. Gabs, Chris, you don't think Jack Black does the bumbling fat character? I mean, he does. It's a parody of that. But and it's more like his character's more. I guess it is a parody of him, Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams, Chris Farley. It's like an amalgamation of all those stars, those comedians who. I mean, definitely Chris Farley. There's a lot of Chris Farley in this performance, where his craziness, his drug abuse, like that's a part of it. Eddie Murphy's films throughout like the 90s and early 2000s, that's a part of his character. It all kind of works. And also Jack Black's in there too. It's like those three main things. Jack Black, Chris Farley, Eddie Murphy. That's what works about the character. But, you know, he's watching the dailies, and of course the goddamn Access Hollywood videos bring up old shit, chat, and the critical and commercial flop known as Simple Jack. Now, this is what got the movie in not even hot water, but this is the film that people criticize for. And the thing is, it's like, Ben Stiller plays a mentally retarded character, and it's a joke, it's a critique that, for whatever reason, the Academy and critics love it when actors play mentally challenged people in films. Robert Downey Jr. brings up a whole list of people later on in the movie, but it's like, that is so goddamn true. And but people said he went too much to it. He went full retard, chat. People just didn't like that. No fucking thank you. And he gets a goddamn call from his agent, chat, played by Matthew McConaughey. See, this was the start of the McConaissance, chat. It wasn't Bernie, okay? It wasn't the Lincoln Lawyer. It was goddamn Tropic Thunder. It saved a lot of careers, this film. And he's calling him. He's like, listen, man, hope everything's going okay. Whatever you need, I'm there for you. Like, Matthew McConaughey's a goddamn good agent of Ben Stiller. He treats him with respect. Even though Ben Stiller's career is on the out and out, Matthew McConaughey's still there to support him. And, you know, Ben Stiller's like, things are going okay. Matthew McConaughey's asking about that adoption thing he's been doing. It's like, I'm running into some difficulties. And this is a good in-joke. It only happens a couple times in the film. Matthew McConaughey's like, well, at least you get to pick yours. And we cut to this picture of this clearly slow child that Matthew McConaughey's been forced to adopt for appearances. Again, a parody of how you have all these actors who adopt these kids from different countries, and Matthew McConaughey got stuck with this very large, clearly very slow child. I thought that was fucking hilarious. And he's asking Ben Stiller, well, did the TiVo come in? Which is another long-running gag in the movie. He's like, I didn't get the TiVo. Matthew McConaughey's like, whoa, I want to make sure you're going to get that goddamn TiVo, Ben. I can promise that. That's the fucking contract that I worked out with Les Grossman. I promise you. He's like, don't worry about it, Matthew McConaughey. You treat me with respect. I understand. He's like, no, I'm going to get you the goddamn TiVo. And he fucking brings him that TiVo, Chad. He gets him that TiVo. Eventually, we cut to Steve Coogan, and he's in a big old meeting with Les Grossman, chat, via the Skype, and you have all the other people, the people behind the production in there too. And again, who would have thought Tom Cruise would play a role like this of just the obese, sweaty, balding, just grotesque movie producer? I mean, he's kind of almost feels like a parody of like Harvey Weinstein, chat, except without the rape. Like, it's shocking. Les Grossman is a better person in hindsight, chat. Les Grossman, as we see him in this film, is a better person than Harvey Weinstein was in real life. That is fucking shocking, but it's true. And Les Grossman, he's just like, listen, you were losing me fucking millions of dollars what the fuck are you doing? He says, hey, he like talks to like a boom mic operator. He's like, boom mic guy, punch fucking Steve Coogan in the face. The boom mic guy's like, this guy's paying me. Boom, he punches Steve Coogan, his big old British schnoz shit. He's crying. And like, but no one can come to an agreement on what needs to happen. But fucking Nick Nolte, he starts doing his crazy Nick Nolte shit. He's like, you gotta take these boys out into the jungle, show them the real shit, guerrilla style filmmaking. Yeah, and then fucking Tom Cruise is like, who the hell are you? He's like, I wrote the goddamn book. I'm Nick Nolte. And he's about losing a fucking beat. We appreciate your service, Mr. Nick Nolte. Now shut the fuck up when I'm talking. Nick Nolte's just eating this apple. This must have been improv because he just fucking spits all out all over himself. Again, like that's when the improv comes in, chat, and it's really funny. And Tom Cruise says, listen, Steve Coogan, if you don't get this production squared away, you're going to be fired, and you're never going to have a career in Hollywood. You'll be going back to merry old jolly fucking England to work on your goddamn useless place. Fix this shit. And he goes off. And now Steve Coogan, he's just miserable. He's not having a good time. He wanders out into the hotel beach shed. He's drinking some goddamn whiskey just straight from the fucking bottle. And who does he see out to the side, chat? Nick Nolte. Oh, by the way, who has like 2 hooks because he had his hands blown off. And so he's fucking, I don't know, smoking some shit, smoking doobies, chat. And he's like, Steve Coogan, come over here. Steve Coogan goes over there. And he basically reiterates what he said before in the meeting. He's like, listen, if you want this movie, you're not gonna fuck up my story, okay? We're gonna put these actors, these namsy-pamsy actors, out into the real shit. And Steve goes, okay, like shoot it like guerrilla-style filmmaking, like minimal. He's like, yeah, do that. And he's like, yeah, let's fucking do it. And everyone's in agreement, chat, except the actors. And we see everyone in a helicopter, chat. You got the whole cast: Robert Downey Jr., Jay Baruchel, Ben Stiller, Jack Black, Brandon T. Jackson. Steve Coogan, he's laying down the goddamn line. He's like, listen, what I'm going to tell you right now, we have layered the jungle with various explosive devices, multiple cameras, and so we're not gonna come back until we shoot all these goddamn scenes. And like Ben Stiller's kind of into it. Jay Baruchel's kind of like Robert Downey Jr., he's a fucking method actor, so he's excited as hell. And he's like, let's fucking do it. You have Danny McBride there. He's layered out all these explosives everywhere around the jungle, and he won't fucking, light them up until Steve Coogan gives the goddamn signal to do so. And so he lands, everyone gets off the copter, and Steve Coogan's like, okay, motherfuckers, give me all your goddamn cell phones. Everyone's giving the cell phone, except Ben. He says 2 cell phones. He keeps one of them. He tucks them right into his pants into the nether regions. No one's gonna check Ben Stiller's taint chat for a cell phone. You wouldn't, would you? And he takes all the cell phone chat and he pours. Oh, but he asked Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey was like, I wasn't around the 60s. I am completely head to toe 1969 Vietnam fucking soldier right here. All right? Don't ask me that. I'm insulted. But he gets all the cell phones chat. Jack Black, he's got the goddamn drug he shakes because he needs a good snuff of heroin. But he pours water and everyone's like, fuck. And he's like, boys, again, as I said before, we are going to shoot this shit. We're not going to go home until we're done shooting, okay? You're going to go to these specific places marked on this map. You're going to shoot the scenes as I see fit, and I will watch you from the trees, from key vantage points to collect everything on film. Now let us start our quest! And he takes 1 step forward, steps in a fucking mine, and blows up, chat. It is incredibly perfect comedic timing. King DJ, thank you for the 10 minutes. What's up, Chris? How is your night going? Fantastic, man. Just reviewing Tropic Thunder right now. We're at the part of Steve Coogan's death. And the thing is, when he steps in, he goes, huh, and it fucking explodes. It's just red mist and meat chunks falling down. And it's because they hang on it, Chad. Like this, again, you can tell this is directed by someone who knows what they're fucking doing. Because they spend time, everyone's just like, what the fuck? And all these meat chunks coming down, the red mist starts to disperse. And Jack Black kills it. Yeah! Woo! Like everyone thinks it's like, is that an effect? And everyone's like, shit. Like even Brad T. Jackson's like, I think that motherfucker just blew up. And they're all looking at him. And Ben Stiller's like, no, guys, he didn't die. No, what this was. No, fucking, Steve Coogan, I see what you're doing. Like, I've done plenty of more effects-laden films than you guys. All this is just fucking, blood-colored courtship. He fucking picks up the severed head of Steve Coogan, and he's just, like, throwing it around. Everyone's like, oh, God, Jesus. Meanwhile, chap, we cut to another part of the jungle where we see these drug runners, Chad. I think they're called like crouching the red dragons or something. But these drug runners, Chad. They hear these explosives and they think someone tripped some of their minds. And so they go out, and these guys are not a part of the fucking movie. And they come upon the scene of our intrepid actors playing around with a severed head. And like Ben Stiller, he's just like putting his hand in and all the fucking Steve Coogan juices, chat. I mean, Steve Coogan intestines and brain are falling out. Puts on his gun. He's like, ah! He's fucking tastes. He's like, that tastes like a lot like blood. But it's okay. It's just realistic. And he's fucking showing the head. And everyone was like, oh my God. The drug runner's like, these guys feel no fucking fear. They're crazy. They can't believe what they're seeing, chat. And I love it too. Ben Stiller takes the head off and he kicks it towards Brandon T. Jackson. Brandon T. Jackson goes, oh! He gets scared. And then, finally, chat, these other guys, they just start fucking shooting in on our intrepid actors. Like, we gotta take these fucking crazy bastards out. Everyone's like, oh shit, the scene's just starting. Let's fucking get into it. And so they start shooting the scene. Ben Stiller's like, he's not even uncovered. He's just going, ah! These guys are like, what the fuck? Danny McBride, he hears all this shit. He's like, okay, I guess the shooting star. Let's lay off those explosives. And we see that the explosive devices that he has there, they're right next to the drug runner. So he set these things off. They all start freaking out, and they get out of there, chat. And Ben Stiller's like, woo! That's the fucking trailer, baby. That's how we do it. And he's okay, guys. Next scene is about a click away. Let's go over to it. And then another great line. Robert Jr. goes, you stupid motherfucker. This guy is dead. He's dead. Look at him. He's everywhere. And people are like, okay, they're starting to be on Robert Downey Jr.'s side over the situation. We're like, Ben Stiller's like, no, guys. It was all smoke and goddamn mirrors. It's fine. There's something about Downey Jr.'s delivery in this movie. This motherfucker's dead. He just works so well. And eventually he does convince them, like, okay, we got to go out and go deeper in the jungle to start these scenes. And eventually they come to a point, chat, where they're finally resting. Jack Black, it's revealed to be a major drug abuser. He's just taking fucking just globs, chat, just fistfuls of powdered heroin, and just snuffing things up as much as he can. And he constantly is being interrupted by people. He's trying to do it. He's like, I need my jelly beans. These are my jelly beans. People are asking, look, can I have some of your jelly beans? He's like, I'm not going to get my fucking jelly beans. Like, you can't take him his jelly beans, chat. Don't ask for his jelly beans. And he goes off. He's constantly just fucking scratching himself. He can't help it. But eventually, we come to a point where, okay, we all got to rest. We got to take a break till we get to the next scene. And Robert Downey Jr., he's like, okay, this guy is fucking nuts. We're not going to deal with this anymore, all right? And he goes over to Jay Baruchel, who's the most sensible out of anyone. And he's like, okay, listen, man, have you read the goddamn map? Can you read the goddamn map to get us the hell out of here? Because Ben Stiller's fucking lost it. And Jay Baruchel is like, yeah, I mean, I went to training. I should be able to. And Robert Jr. goes, fucking great. Smacks him on his ass, chat. Getting into character, always in character. And eventually, Ben Stiller, he wanders over with a big old can of booty sweat, chat. He puts stuff, don't worry, I'm not really pissing. I'm just here to talk to you. He fucking stabs and shoots out. It's like, that is a strong piss tree, my friend. And he says, fucking Robert Downey Jr., he's lost it, man. Like, you're here with me, right? Let's just make sure, keep an eye on him. He's like, oh yeah, but hey, how about I see the map? Like, he knows, like, Jay Baruchel knows that Ben Stiller has lost it. And so he's like, give me the map so we can get the hell out of here. He's like, oh, don't worry, I'll worry about the map. Just keep an eye on these crazy motherfuckers. And eventually, Chad, they go out. Danny McBride, he's trying to get a hold of Steve Coogan, but he just can't get a message out to him. So he's like, okay, let's fucking go, Nick Nolte. Let's check on him. They go to the spot, Chad, and they're like, oh, fuck, Steve Coogan's dead. And Nick Nolte says, that was because of you. You blew him up, you dumb fuck. He's like, that wasn't me. And they get into a big fight, Chad. And Dan McBride grabs his hook hands and he yanks them off. He goes, what the fuck? And oh my God, Nick Nolte has real hands, Chad. He wasn't a Vietnam vet. He lied. And that's when they are come upon by the drug dealers, Chad. Like, oh shit, a lot of big revelations right here. And eventually they take him back to the drug compound. Where Nick Nolte, like, Dan McBride's like questions. Like, listen, man, I was fucking inspired by you. Okay, that's why I became a VFX artist, man. I fucking lost a finger on Driving Miss Daisy because of you. And like his arm, he got all these injuries from these films that like did not need like huge explosions or set pieces, and yet he lost a finger on Driving Miss Daisy, lost an ear. I don't know, fucking Shawshank Redemption or something. It's ridiculous. And he's asking all these questions. Nick Nolte, he's like, I served the military, Coast Guard, sanitation. He was a garbage man. So he made all this up. It's a big lie, chap. And they're in the shit. Like, that's not looking too good for them. And we occasionally cut back to them throughout the movie to see what else Nick Nolte had lied about, why Danny McBride is just so disappointed in him. We find our actors. And eventually we come to a river. And Robert Downey Jr., he's had enough of this shit. He's like, okay, he's talking to God. Oh, no, not even before that. Like, they're walking, and we get the epic conversation about Ben Stiller's career, ask Robert Downey Jr. for advice. And, you know, basically the discussion goes into Simple Jack. And Robert Downey Jr.'s like, hey, you really went in on that role. I was like, yeah, I did. You know, I'm like, I studied retarded people, you know, and there's times when I was making the movie where I actually felt like really, really retarded. Robert Downey Jr. like just fucking moronical. Just the stupidest motherfucker that ever lived. Just sitting in the bathtub and farting and smelling the fart bubbles, like shit like that. And the best was like, yeah, I got really into it. And, you know, Robert Downey Jr. was like, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised he even did that since you were going to get an accolade for it. And he just walks away. You know that Robert Downey Jr. was fucking with him in this scene. He's like, what do you mean? Well, and we have the iconic conversation chat. Well, the thing is, Ben Stiller, in the movie, you never go full retard. You know, fucking Dustin Hoffman, Rain Man, you know, looks retarded, acts retarded, not retarded. You know, he can count cards. That's not something a retarded person can do. Forrest Gump, you know, slow, yes, dumb, maybe. But he fucking won a ping pong tournament, trying the pants off Nixon. That's not retarded. You know, but then the one he does list, these old people have won Academy Awards. He finally lists Sean Penn in My Name is Sam. Now that guy went full retard, went home empty-handed. And this is the scene in the movie, chat, that became so controversial, where a lot of groups came out and people who had, you know, family members or children who were mentally disabled, they were very upset by it. But again, I think it was kind of overblown. But it's so funny how that was the scene. Those are the scenes and those moments that were so controversial about this movie, and not the blackface. People weren't bothered, but it's like, yeah, blackface, whatever. Hey, Robert Downey Jr. makes a very convincing Blackman, chat. So they were fine with that. And eventually after that conversation, they get to the river. They're supposed to cross and get the next scene. But Downey Jr., he has had enough of all this bullshit. And he fucking eventually just takes the goddamn map from business. Like, shut up, fuck you, motherfucker. And he gives it to Jay Brown. Is like, yep, this is, we are going the complete opposite direction of where we need to go in. Meanwhile, in the background, Chad, Jack Black, again, it's very subtle. You have to pay attention. He is just fucking fidgeting the entire time. Complaining like, I'm so tired. I'm hot. I'm cold. I'm hot again. Like, what he's doing in the background is brilliant. And Robert Downey Jr., he's telling Ben Stiller's like, listen, like, this is actually real. Everything that's happening, like, we have to get back to the LZ to get the hell out of here. We gotta contact Danny McBride, Nick Nolte, tell them what happened. And Ben Stiller, he fucking got one on Robert Downey Jr. Chase, like, okay, but why are you still in character? Robert Downey Jr. goes like, listen, man, I don't break character until I do the goddamn DVD commentary. And Ben Stiller's like, oh my God, you people. And he's like, what do you mean, you people? And Brandon T. Jackson, this is the start of the great interactions between Robert Downey Jr. and Brandon T. Jackson. When Brandon T. Jackson goes, what do you mean, you people? Eventually, though, everyone's just like, we're going to abandon Ben Stiller. You go do your thing. Ben Stiller, he's going to do this on his own, chap. And they're heading back to the LZ. It's fucking Jack Black is still spazzing out, acting weird. And we follow Ben Stiller for a bit. And, you know, he's to take in the jungle, chat. And, of course, he's fucking up the entire time. He looking at a little praying mantis and fucking attacks his eye. He starts eating his eyeball. Praying mantis are very aggressive, chat. Don't fuck with a praying mantis. It'll fuck you up. He also, he's going over all these... A lot of these actually shot rather well. By the time it's nighttime, chat, he is not in a good place. He's watching fucking Star Trek on an iPod. You know, he has a secondary cell phone and everything. He's not doing great. He's getting like a call from fucking Matthew McConaughey telling him about all this nonsense. Like, it's fine, don't worry about it. But eventually, Chad, he sees something in the rain and darkness. He doesn't understand, doesn't know what it is. And eventually, he's coming for it. So he goes out there, Chad. He grabs a little fucking pocket knife, and whatever's gonna come, he's gonna fucking fight it. And this thing just attacks him, Chad. It gets on top of him. The camera's just shaking around, and Ben Stiller goes, stab me, stab me, stab. Looks like goddamn Ellie from The Last of Us Part 2, Chad. Just loses his goddamn mind. Stabs the shit covered in blood and fur until he sees what he murdered, Chad. A panda. It's a little baby panda just looking up at him. And he gets this fucking Vietnam flashback, Chad, to these wonderful little pictures he took of a baby panda. And he screams to the heavens, no! But apparently it didn't affect him for long because he fucking guts this thing and wears its body like a goddamn suit, chat. And that's when he goes full Marlon Brando, Apocalypse Now at this point in the film. And then Matthew McConaughey, he calls him, asking about what the situation is. Like, how everything's going, buddy? He's like, I am the situation, man. It's all around us, man. The situation's all... And Matthew McConaughey's like, are you okay? Do you need me to help? He's like, did you get the fucking TiVo? He's like, I don't need TiVo. Forget TiVo. Matthew McConaughey's like, no, I can get you the TiVo. Like, Matthew McConaughey thinks that Ben Stiller's about to, like, drop him as agent. He's like, I don't need any agents, man. I'm good on my own. It's like, oh, Jesus, no, I'm coming. I promise you I'm going to get that TiVo. I'm going to talk to Les Grossman as soon as possible. He ends up, oh, God, please don't fire me. Because that's all of his money, chat. That's his fucking cash cow in Ben Stiller. He goes to talk to Les Grossman. Eventually, we cut back to the other actors chat. Jack Black is losing his goddamn mind. He's attacking a water buffalo. Everyone's like, Jack Black, do not eat the water buffalo. He's eating parasite-infested water. Chad's like, don't do that, Jack Black. Eventually, they're like, okay, Jack Black's fucking losing his goddamn mind. We got to camp for the night. Robert Downey Jr. goes off about making, fucking collard greens and, cornbread, chat. And like, and like, basically, upping the black voice. And Brandon T. Jackson's like, I've had a fucking enough of this, what you're doing. Stop. You are fucking Australian. Act Australian. Move aside, Kangaroo Jack. And he starts all the references. Take it easy, Crocodile Dundee. And he's telling Brandon Jackson, hey, now, man, that man's a national treasure. He's like, oh, I'm sorry a dingo ate your baby. He's like, that actually happened. That's offensive. Stop it. Who the hell's texting me? Oh, we're good, chat. And to the point where Brandon Jackson, he's lost. He's like, this goddamn motherfucking, and he says the N-word, chat. And that is Robert Downey Jr.'s trigger. And he embraces Brandon T. Jackson. And he gives the water where she's like, that word has been used against us for 400 years. Reggie's like, what the fuck is happening? He pushes off of him. He's like, you have serious issues right now, okay? He's like, all right, man. Hey, I'm here for you. It's like, no, you're not. You're here for your goddamn son. They fucking walk off. Eventually, Chad, we do cut back to Ben Stiller, who is immediately captured soon after his conversation with Matthew McConaughey by the drug runners. They bring him back to the drug runner headquarters, chat, where he's introduced. He's introduced to the leader of the drug runner, which is this small Vietnamese child, chat. And he just starts beating the shit out of Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller also all thinks this is part of the same movie. That's the thing, too. Like, Downey Jr., Jack Black, everyone, they do see Ben Stiller because they actually camp right on the outskirts of the drug runners camp, and they see Ben Stiller being tortured in the water. Like, oh, God, please. Going bobbing up and down the water, chat. But eventually he's so exhausted that he's taken to the drug leader, and he's beating the shit out of him. He's fucking burning his eye with cigarettes, beating him with a fucking cane with a broom handle, chat, until Ben Stiller goes, please don't hurt me. And everyone goes, hold on a minute. Wait a minute, say that again. Say it again. About to beat him. He's like, please don't hurt me. He's like, oh my God, you're Simple Jack. And he goes, yes. And all these Vietnamese drug runners, chat, their favorite movie in the world is the critical and commercial bomb Simple Jack. Like, we love this movie. He brings out on VHS for some reason. It's like, how? There's still VHSs back in the day? And he's like, oh, VHS, yes. He's like, you shall perform this for us until the day you die. He's like, I don't like that. Too goddamn bad. We'll fucking peel your fingernails off if you don't. And so then we get this various scenes of them literally beating the shit out of Ben Stiller to perform Simple Jack for them like 3 times a day in front of a live audience, to the point where they mentally break him and where he becomes the Marlon Brando-esque character that we see in Apocalypse Now. Great scene. But we eventually cut back to the camp, and they're like, okay, guys, we have to save Ben Stiller. He's caught in a horrible situation, and they're talking about their lives. Like, great scene, too, with Jack Black. He's completely lost at this point. Like, he is just jonesing because for any type of drugs that he can get his goddamn hands on. And he asked Jay Baruchel, listen, you gotta tie me to that goddamn fucking tree, and you can't cut me down for everything, because I will lie to you. I will try to kill all of you just to get a little whiff of that prime heroin down there. So they tie him up, chat. Throughout the whole thing, he's just saying the worst slurs imaginable towards everyone in the goddamn camp. And he's calling Jay Baruchel, your mother's a cankerous whore. And Jay Baruchel goes, whoa, man, why'd you say that? And Jack Black, without losing the beat, hey, man, remember a long time ago when I said your mother was a cankerous whore? I'm sorry. Like, his perception of time is like weeks off. He doesn't know where the fuck he is anymore. Again, Jack Black's such a great character. The conversations continue. Everyone's saying, like, Robert Downey Jr., you need help. You gotta stop doing this whole, like, get out of character. What's wrong with you? But everyone eventually starts, talking about like what they wanted from this movie. Jay Baruchel, he wanted to get a girlfriend. Oh, how sweet. Everyone's asking Brandon T. Jackson, hey man, you got a little honey in your life? And Brandon T. Jackson's like, nah, I don't. Jay Baruchel, oh, what are you talking about? You're Al Pacino. You got 10 girls every other night. And it's like, Drum Junior's like, nah, man, no. You can have that, but there's probably someone special in your life. Tell us the name. He's like, there's this guy named Lance. And Drum Junior goes, Lance? What the fuck? Like, what do you mean Lance? He's like, no, I meant Nance. I meant Nance, goddammit. It's like, no, that sounds masculine like Lance. So again, character. Again, chap. The character who's supposed to be very masculine, all about the ladies, he's denying who he actually is underneath, Chad. He's a gay man. There's nothing wrong with that, but he grew up in a culture of Hollywood that said, like, you have to adhere to these very strict guidelines of what we need you to be. But it's like, you don't need that. Reject that. Be who you are, Chad. He eventually does learn. He embraces who he is at the end of the movie, which is great. Very positive message. And then we cut to Jack Black, who says, hey, Brandon T. Jackson, listen, I'll fucking blow you right now if you cut me down. And what's the iconic line, Chad? It's like, I'll stroke the shaft, cradle the balls, and swallow the gravy. Wow. Yeah, so good. But eventually they form a plan where they're going to rescue Ben Stiller, Chad. Robert Downey Jr. disguised himself as a Vietnamese rice grower, and he fucking has Jack Black, a naked, very pasty Jack Black, on that water buffalo that Jack Black wanted to eat and consume early in the movie, chat, while Jay Baruchel and Brandon T. Jackson, they infiltrate the main camp. And eventually, Robert Downey Jr. speaking, which I can only describe as Vietnamese English. It's not Vietnamese, I can tell you that right now. It's like every other word is American. Or just some other language he came up with on the spot. But he's translating. He's like, I have captured this American fat man. I present him to you for torture. And they're like, okay, we'll torture the fat man. Sounds good. They're cutting Jack Black off the ox chat, going to fucking brand his big old ass. Robert Downey Jr., he fucks it up, though, because he says, at first, I'm a rice paddy farmer, but he says, I'm going to go back to my poppy fields. And the fucking little Vietnamese psychopath Asian child, he's like, wait a minute, that's not, what? And they fucking, I knew it, you're not who you say you are. And then we get another iconic line, chat, where Robert Downey Jr. is like, I'm not a poppy grower or a rice grower, I'm a lead farmer, motherfucker. And he just starts blasting, murdering all these goddamn people, cradle the balls, stroke the shaft, work the pipe, and swallow the gravy. Thank you, Darkslayer. And so he's laying all these guys right now, Chad. Jay Baruchel and Brandon T. Jackson, they run over to another building. That's where they find Danny McBride and Nick Nolte. And everyone's like, oh my God, Nick Nolte, you have hands. I think that's a running gag too. So funny. Eventually, they free them. They're like, okay, we got to find Ben Stiller. We think they're keeping Ben Stiller in the main compound, the main building. Also, Ben Stiller has adopted a small Vietnamese child who he calls, was it Short Squat? Or so funny. And so, okay, they're going out like, okay, we're going to fucking do cover fire on all these goddamn drug runners. And then Robert Downey Jr., he's going to go off and look for Ben Stiller. Jack Black, he just says, fuck it. He has a gun underneath his tank jet, which he is working hard to get out. But he fucking gets it out. He points it at people. He drops it. He's like, I need drugs. Don't be disappointed in me. He just goes straight for the drug. Everyone goes, fuck it, Jack Black. He goes over there, chat. Jack Black, he just gets these fucking fistfuls of heroin. Jay Baruchel comes up and is like, listen, man, you just don't do this, okay? I mean, I grew up watching your films, and this shouldn't be you. This shouldn't be what consumes. It's like, you only like me because of my farts. It's like, no, it's not. That's not the only reason. And eventually, these two Vietnamese drug dealers, they come in, Chad. They got them on fucking, just pointing their guns at them. And Jack Black, he gets a little fear fight. And they start laughing at him. And that's his goddamn trigger. He fucking goes right at him, chat. Just smothering them in pure heroin. Probably killed him. And then we get a great line. It's like, okay, we have to move quickly. They're going to be out for the next 16 to 18 hours. And they run off. Eventually, chat, we see what has happened to Ben Stiller. Robert Downey Jr. discovers him. He has gone fucking total Lieutenant Kurtz, Marlon Brando. Not giving a shit. He's like, I want to stay here. I do 3 performances a day. He has like a little twig man. Robert Downey goes, is that your friend? He's like, I call him Twigman. He's like, does he want to come with us too? And Robert Downey Jr., he's just struggling to convince Ben Stiller to the point where Ben Stiller does some reverse goddamn psychology on his ass. Where he's like, you're saying to me I'm this person, but now who are you? who are you? He's like, I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. But he fucking, everything Robert Downey Jr., his whole life is just crashing before his eyes. Because Ben Stiller uses that reverse psychology. He's like, what are you scared of? Who am I scared of? He's like, you're scared of you. And he just fucking loses it, Chad. He collapses on the ground. He's crying. And Jay Baruchel goes, this is very uncomfortable. What's happening? Eventually he goes through all the characters he's ever played. Neil Armstrong, Father O'Malley, like everyone. He takes off all the wig, chat, the prosthetics. He wipes the blackface off until he is the Australian man he always needs to be. And he's like, I don't know who I am right now. It's like, it's okay. We gotta get the fuck out of here. We're all gonna die. And Jay Baruchel, he goes up to Ben Stiller's like, hey man, you gonna come with us? He's like, who is us? He's like, okay, you're not. Fucking grab him and let's get the hell out of here. They fucking put him all over his shoulder, chat. They load him up to the car. Nick Nolte's goddamn doing covering fire of a fucking flamethrower. Chat, there is nothing more iconic. There is nothing. Is it still on Netflix? I don't think it's on Netflix. I think it's like $1.99 on Amazon. But there's nothing better or more iconic than Nick Nolte, crazy Nick Nolte, drunk, high out of his mind, using a flamethrower to lay covering fire down for everyone, chat. There's nothing better than that. He's laying covering fire down. Dan McBride, he's in the car. They load everybody up, and they start fucking moving, chat. But the crazy little Asian kid's like, fuck that. You destroyed my goddamn drug compound. I'm going to take you out. He brings out a rocket launcher, chat. He aims, boom! He fires that shit. Hits the car, fucking topples over, and everything rolls out. Everyone's fucking crying, everyone's injured. Jay Baruchel, and then Ben Stiller, he becomes one with the scene. He realizes what's going on, and he snaps out of this thing. He's like, oh shit, and then he starts giving the orders as his character does in the movie. He's like, guys, we gotta get fucking going. You go this way, you go this way. Take him up, and that everyone's following his orders. And fucking Robert Downey Jr. looks in his eyes, he's like, you got it, man, you got it. He's like, hell yeah, I do. And they jump over, chat. They get to the helicopter. The Dan McBride landed early, loaded everybody up. But Ben Stiller, he stops, and Robert Jr. goes like, wait, what's wrong? And Robert Stiller's like, listen, you go ahead and you tell the people the things that have happened here. But these are my people right now. This is who I am. This is who I want to be. Robert Jr. is like, you're fucking nuts. Come with us, please. He's like, no, man, I can't. I'm going to go back. He's like, all right, fucking go back. And Robert Downey Jr. eventually gets back over there. Brian T. Jackson, Jack Black are like, where'd Ben Stiller go? He's like, we fucking lost him. He's not worth it. Let's get the hell out of here. And eventually, chap, they hear some screaming from the background. Like, what the fuck? And they have Ben Stiller doing a goddamn Tom Cruise. I was like, I was wrong. And his little Asian child that he adopted, chat's short squat, is repeatedly stabbing him in the neck with a little knife. And then we get one of the best visual gags in the movie where he grabs the little Asian child he adopted, chat, and just fucking yeets him. Does a million spins into the watery depths below, chat. That kid is fucking dead. And he just starts running over, chat. He starts running over. Ooh! D. Carlox, thank you for the 10 minis. That scene when Ben Stiller does that baby throw, it's so fucking funny, D. Carlox. There's nothing better than that. So he fucking eats that kid. He goes over there, chat. Eventually, I think some. Oh yeah, because they blow. Okay, the kid then blows up the goddamn bridge, Nick Nolte does. So Nick Nolte, he runs over, boom, blows up the bridge. Ben Stiller's blasted back. Everyone's blasted back. But Robert Downey Jr. he goes to fucking Ben Stiller, and he has him, Chad. He's like has him in his arms right now, and Ben Stiller, he's giving the monologue of his life until Robert Downey Jr. says, "Hey, real tears. You're selling this, man. You did it." And he's like, oh my God, I did cry. He's like, that's all you needed. Some emotionality. Oh, came back to the emotionality, chat. And he's like, you want to get the fuck out of here? He's like, hell yeah, I do. Robert Downey Jr. picks up Ben Stiller. They head back to the copter, chat, load up, and they're just about to leave. But the little crazy Asian drug runner, chat, he has another RPG waiting, and everyone's name is on it. But then who runs out? Oh, that's the thing, chat. So while this is all happening before then, Matthew McConaughey, he goes to Les Grossman. And he's complaining about his contract, Ben Stiller's contract, not having the fucking TiVo in there. Like, well, he has a TiVo, but he isn't getting the TiVo yet. And then eventually he calls Ben Stiller, but it's not a call from Ben Stiller. It's the fucking drug runners who's saying, like, we have fucking Ben Stiller held hostage right now. Pay us $50 million for him. And Les Grossman, he's like, give me the phone. And then we get the most insult-laden call, I think, in cinema history, chat, where he's like, I don't give a shit who the fuck you are. Fuck you, motherfuckers. I will shit fucking down your throat. Fuck you. And he hangs up, chat. He's like, can someone figure out who I said that all to? And eventually, they come to the realization, so this is one of the largest drug runners in South Asia. And they keep upping their rate chat, the kidnapping price to $50 million. That's $100 million. And eventually Les Grossman goes, yeah, fuck this. We're just going to let him die because we're just going to collect the insurance money on him, and we'll just recoup all the losses and then some for the entire picture. And Beth McConaughey's like, you're just going to let him die for just some money? And Tom Cruise is like, yeah, that's all I'm going to do. And then to convince Matthew McConaughey, he does like an interpretive dance number. He clicks it, just starts dancing. Everyone's excited. And fucking Bill Hader's in the scene too, as like Tom Cruise's assistant. He's like a little toady, chat like his Smithers. He's dancing as well. Again, just an iconic fucking moment. And he's like, listen, Matthew McConaughey, do you want your loser Ben Stiller, or would you like a private jet? I can give you a private jet. That's what I can offer you. And a few $1 million. And Matthew McConaughey has to come up with a decision, chat. Do I fucking save my best friend who made my career, or fucking private jet and a few $1 million? And Matthew McConaughey comes to that decision, chat. He is gonna go for Ben Stiller and bring the goddamn TiVo, baby, because he runs out of the jungle, chat. And what does he have? Played Ludacris, that's right. And what does he have in his goddamn hands, chat? The TiVo! But he also sees the little Asian kid about to fire that RPG. And that kid fires that fucking RPG, chat, and he throws that TiVo up in the sky, boom! And the TiVo, chat, the thing that Matthew McConaughey wanted to make sure Ben Stiller got, saved the entire cast. And he hits the chat, and the helicopter goes off, and Matthew McConaughey runs back out into the jungle. For how long, we don't know. A G5 airplane. He has a good goddamn arm. He does. And eventually, chat, we cut to the Academy Awards, where Tropic Blunder has been nominated for like a dozen Academy Awards. We're at the Best Actor category, chat, presented by Robert Downey Jr.'s Kirk Lazarus. And we also see all these other fake nominees. You see Tom Hanks in there playing a paraplegic man. Like everything you expect of the Oscars. Sean Penn is playing a blind man. What's the other guy? Not John Lithgow. John Voight is there too, as like a crazy preacher. But fucking the winner is Ben Stiller at Tropic Blunder, and his whole career is realized, Chad, in that moment. It's like he has the respect of his peers. He's having a great time. Everyone's cheering. Kirk Lazarus hugging him, Chad. Then we cut to the office of Les Grossman. He's talking to Bill Hader, and it's like $400 million box office, 12 Academy Award wins. Like, this is a goddamn good night. And he's like, Bill Hader, I know what you're going to go out there to all your parties and say that, oh, this couldn't have happened because of you. But really, a dickless and ballless monkey could have done your job. And Bill Hader's like, that hurts. He's like, I'm just kidding with you, Bill Hader. We're having a good time. And he's like, yeah, go out and drink, having a good time. But he grabs him at the time. He's like, but in all seriousness, a fucking dickless monkey can do your job. And he lets him go. And then we just get a goddamn scene. The end credits, chat, is Tom Cruise just dancing. Just dancing, cutting over all the actors' names pop up on the screen. But it's just him. Incredible. He deserves an Oscar nomination just for that role, chat. As Les Grossman. Yeah, Get Back. That's right. And that, guys, is Tropic Thunder. To me, one of my favorite comedies of all time. I don't think it's a controversial statement to make. One of the greatest comedies of all time. I highly, highly recommend checking this out. Please, please do so. It's worth it. This is the very definition of a better-than-sex film, chat. An incredible film. Seriously. What do you guys think of the film in general? I'm curious about that.